In this video, I'm going to be telling you about the different parts of the microscope. This will help you be successful in lab, and it'll also help you on the test next week. You will need to know the different parts of the microscope and their function or their purpose. The first part of the microscope that we're going to focus on is called the eyepiece. It is this part right up here. It's the part you look in when you're using the microscope. If you look here, you can see that it magnifies times 10. That's the power of the lens inside. The next part of the microscope is the body of the microscope, or called the body tube. Then from moving down, we get to the arm piece. This is one of the places where we hold the microscope. This is where you would grab with your upper hand to hold onto the microscope. And then on the bottom part, we have the base. This is where you put the other hand when you're carrying a microscope so that you can carry it safely to the location you're moving it to. Looking more closely at the microscope in this area, this rotating part is what we call the revolving nose piece. You can see that it rotates around so that we can use various lenses. Looking at our revolving nose piece, there are 3 different lenses encased in what we call objectives. This first one, the red one, is a 4-power objective. It magnifies by the power of 4. The second objective is a 10-power objective. It's yellow and it magnifies it 10 times greater. And our third one is blue, and it's our 40-power objective. It multiplies by 40 times larger. It should be noted that this is a compound microscope. Just like a compound word makes 2 smaller parts and makes 1 bigger word, we have 2 smaller lenses that work together to make an object larger. So it'll magnify by the 10 up here times whatever objective you're using. If you have it on the 4 objective down here, you're going to take the 10 times the 4 power for a total of 40. It's going to magnify it 40 times larger. For our blue objective, which is a 40 power by itself, and we have our 10 times magnification up here, we end up with 10 times 40 gives us 400. And on this setting, we're going to magnify by a power of 400. The next part on our microscope is the platform where we put our slide in here. We call this the stage, and that's where we set the slide. Over on the sides, we have knobs that allow us to adjust the stage. Anytime you go to adjust the stage, always make sure that you're on the 4 objective, otherwise you might damage the lenses on the longer ones. The coarse adjustment is the larger knob. It moves the slide or the stage up and down in larger increments. And then this fine knob right here, the smaller knob, we call that the fine adjustment, and it'll adjust the stage in smaller increments. You can't see it, but if you turned long enough, you would see that this is slowly, very small amounts, moving that stage up and down so that we can focus when we're using our slides. When we are on our 4-power objective, we use our coarse adjustment knob. And if we are using a 10-power or a 40-power objective, we only use the fine knob, the fine adjustment knob for that. The final 2 parts on here, in order to see objects in our slides, we need to make sure there is light coming through them more than when we get in the regular room. So this part down here is called our light. It sends light up and illuminates whatever we are looking at. We have a dial right here, which we call a diaphragm. This helps us control how much light is coming up through the stage in order to magnify the slide we are looking at. The larger the number, the more light that is being let in. This is the first part in our presentation. This tells you the parts of a microscope so that you can fill it in. Remember, you're going to need to know this for the exam next week, and if you would like a key to fill in your diagram, that can be found on Classroom also.